Bloop. Right, only one needed. Let me turn the lights on. Bam, lights. Shit. All right. I started this video a second ago and tripped over the cord. But I decided not to freak out because you know what? It is my responsibility to put the cord back in because I want to record with this microphone and not the shitty laptop microphone. So I took responsibility and thus gained power over the audio in this video. And that is a very simple and very easy example of what I'm going to talk to you about. But instead of having the power of audio in this video, I'm going to talk about having the power over what happens in your life. Wow. Such a heavy burden. You have the power over what happens in your life. And all you have to do is one small thing. Now, for myself, there were some times in life where I was very frustrated and angry at the world because I wasn't getting what I wanted. Specifically, one instance where I wanted popularity, I wanted girls, I wanted to have a fulfilling sex life, and I was fat at the time, I was unhealthy, I had some friends, but they weren't really supportive. They weren't the kind of friends that would help me become a better me. They were friends that I'd have fun with now and then, but I would leave situations feeling worse about myself because they would kind of put me down. One in particular would put me down. And he needed me to be less than him because that made him feel okay. It was a really toxic friendship, and it was a really toxic part of my life where I wasn't taking responsibility for my results. Now, that's the key. That key word there is responsibility. I wasn't taking responsibility, so no wonder I wasn't getting what I wanted. I'm going to be using some ideas that I originally read in a Mark Manson article called The Responsibility/Fault Fallacy. It also appears in his book entitled The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. Awesome book. Check it out if you are so inclined and inspired. The concept here is that responsibility, when you take responsibility, you take power over that thing. When you're like, it's my job, nobody is coming. That is the key thing to understand. Nobody is coming. It's a great phrase. Now, it might sound pessimistic. And by the way, I'm branching off of the ideas from Mark Manson. These are a mixture of a lot of ideas and my own thoughts. So not just regurgitating the article. Definitely read the article, but this is also stuff that I'm expanding the idea and helping you incorporate into your life in a clear way. Darn, where was I? Completely forgot. I'm not editing this because I can't put out a video a day and still edit them in depth. Crap. Fucking crap. But when you take responsibility for something, you gain power over that. Now, let's say it was my popularity, right? So in that time in my life, I was friends with a guy who was putting me down and made me feel less than him because that's how he felt like he wasn't enough, because his life was, he was in a worse shape than I was, and he wanted to feel like he was in better shape, not by becoming better, but by putting others down and making him feel like he was better. And I told myself that nobody is coming. And that is a key phrase that I find very comforting. Nobody is coming. What does that mean if nobody is coming? If nobody is coming, that means that I have to take responsibility for myself. It's my job to take responsibility for my life. If nobody's coming, I can't just let it go and let somebody else come to take that responsibility for me. It's not going to work that way. It's not going to do anything. I am left up to the rolls of the dice, and the rolls of the dice will most often give me nothing, or maybe even take away what I'd like. If you just leave yourself to chance, it's like leaving a piece of metal out in the rain. It's going to rust. Random things are going to happen to it. Entropy is going to increase, and you're going to get rust, and it's going to deteriorate. So what you need to do is take responsibility. Say, hey, if nobody's coming, I'm going to make it happen. And that is very powerful. That puts you in the driver's seat. I like what Mark Manson says in the article, and he says that one of the reasons why we don't take responsibility for the things that happen in our life or our results is because we equate responsibility with fault. If it's my responsibility, that means it's my fault that it happened, which means I should feel guilty and ashamed. Now, that is not true. Responsibility and fault are different. He uses the example of somebody leaving a baby on your doorstep. If somebody leaves a baby on your doorstep, it's not your fault that that happened, but it is now your responsibility what to do with it. You could not do anything. You could put it in an orphanage. You could give it to your neighbor. You could just leave it in front of somebody else's doorstep. You could take care of it. There are a lot of things you can choose to do, but it is now, or not choose to do, but by not choosing, you're making a decision. But it is now your responsibility. It's not your fault that the baby is put on your doorstep, but it is your responsibility. If you want a better financial life, if you want to get out of debt, nobody is coming. Even if you want other people to give you money, which I would suggest you earn it, but you would still have to go out and ask for that. And that's still you taking responsibility. Even if you want money from other people without doing anything, it's still you that has to ask for it. And that's still you saying, I'm going to take responsibility for getting this money to get myself out of debt. Or even if it's you complaining to your credit card that you can't pay it, which is, again, these are things I don't suggest. But in the worst case scenario, I'm trying to show you that it's still your responsibility, even if it seems like you're not taking responsibility. You would be taking responsibility for trying to get the credit cards to listen to you. But ultimately, I think the best choice would be to earn that money, and then it's yours to keep, and then budget that money so you can pay it to the credit card companies and still pay your bills. And that's you taking responsibility. So you're saying, nobody's coming. I'm going to do this for myself. I'm going to make it happen. I'm going to earn the money. I'm going to sign up for Uber with my referral link in the description below. Get a bonus. Woot, woot, woot. Sign up for Uber, sign up for DoorDash, get a job, sell things, start a business, do whatever. Take the camera that I have and start taking photos for people. I'm going to earn money. I'm going to pay it to my credit card companies, and I'm going to walk away debt-free, or at least with less debt than I have now, because I'm taking responsibility. So it's really nice when you come to the conclusion that nobody's coming, that nobody is going to do it for you, and you decide to do it. You decide to take responsibility, not necessarily fault. Maybe you can take fault too, but it's more important that you take responsibility. You say, if it is to be, it must be me. I'm going to give you one more example, and then I'm going to tell you what happened with that time in my life and end that story. If you want to have a great sex life, a great love life, it's your job to go out, to work on yourself, to get fit, to get a good haircut, to clear up your skin, to whiten your teeth. Just make yourself look good. Go out, be social, work on the dating apps, work on hitting on girls in person, and getting over your anxieties and your fears, and take the shots, because that's the only way you're going to get. Well, there are different strategies, but that's the I would say the best and most simple way to have an awesome sex life is to just put yourself out, improve yourself, put yourself out there. That's all it is. Look good, be a cool person, talk to girls, and be emotionally healthy and all that jazz, and you will get them. But you have to take action. To go back to that time in my life when I had that shitty friend, and I was fat and I was unhealthy and I didn't have money and I was dependent on my parents. It's my early 20s. I was dependent on my parents. I didn't have any dating prospects whatsoever. In fact, I was a virgin. I decided to start running. and to start eating better and to get off medication I didn't need. And I went through a year period of really, really shit health and all the emotions that I was not dealing with coming up. There were several nights where I would scream because of the withdrawal from the medications, and that also fucked up my sleep, so I barely had any sleep for almost a whole year, or at least any quality sleep. And the emotions that my bad eating habits and medication were covering up were coming up. And these were years and years and years of emotions I just pushed down and not felt. And they were coming up, and there were like months where every single night I would be curled up in a fetal position in the bathtub screaming. Now, thankfully I lived alone, so nobody would, I didn't freak anybody out. But it was a very scary and it was a very scary time in my life. In a way, I had to go through hell. In a way, I had to put myself through Dante's Inferno. I haven't read Dante's Inferno, but Dante's Inferno is probably a lot more harrowing than what I went through. But it was very intense. It was very, very hard to go through. But I had to, because I took responsibility for getting myself to a good place and getting myself fit, healthy, popular, having supportive friends, and having a good sex life. And I ended up getting all of those things. And I only did that because I took responsibility, because I decided nobody was coming. I can't rely on anybody to do this for me. I have to do it for myself. When you take responsibility, you gain power. It's not just with great power comes great responsibility. It's the other way around. With great responsibility comes great power. I hope this helped you out. If you have anything in your life that you want to achieve that will help you live more passionately, remember, nobody is coming. It has to be you. And I encourage you to do that. Let me know in the comments below what you're going to take responsibility for and start taking action to achieve in your life and to bring to your life. And subscribe if you like. I have a lot of links in the description below of things that I use that I like. And if you purchase any of those, I get a small commission. It'll help at no extra cost to you. And for some of the things like the Whoop strap, you get a benefit too, like a free month. And I think I have my Uber link in there. And if you use that to sign up for Uber after you do a certain amount of rides, you'll get a certain number of extra dollars. That depends. That changes every now and then. So I can't tell you exactly what it is, but it's usually like after 100 rides, get $200 extra or something like that. I don't know the numbers because they change all the time. But enjoy that. Cheers. Bye.